In this video, I will be talking about the Rift Valley fever, or REF for short. First of all, I will talk about this disease itself and its medical significance. The Rift Valley fever is caused by the RVF virus, and that comes from the family Bunyaviridae and from the genus Phlebovirus. It's a virus that affects both the livestock, such as farm animals, as well as humans. The mosquitoes that cause this virus to be spread in humans and animals are the mosquitoes from the genera Aedes and Culex. Various symptoms come from this disease, including fever, abortions, high mortality, and great illness. This disease is mostly spread from mosquitoes to livestock to humans, but it can also be spread from mosquitoes directly to humans. The medical significance of this disease is that it's a great public health concern because it's a zoonosis, and that means it's a disease that affects both humans and animals. This disease was first discovered earlier in the 1900s. However, its virus was discovered in the year 1931. Like many diseases, this disease got its name from the place that it was first found. So its name is Rift Valley fever because the virus was discovered in the Rift Valley in Kenya in a sheep. The connection could easily then be made that this is a disease that gets spread from livestock. Now to talk about the geographical distribution of this disease. River Valley fever, RVF, occurs in a scattered pattern throughout most of Africa, but it also occurs partially in the Arabian Peninsula as of the year 2000. There are certain countries in which there are larger outbreaks that are reported. Overall, this disease is more common in areas with sheep and cattle and other livestock, and therefore it's more common in areas in Africa such as Eastern and Southern Africa. However, this disease is also found to be in Sub-Saharan Africa and Madagascar. Since zoonosis is when both humans and animals are affected by the same disease, epizoonosis is another situation that occurs here in which large animals that are domesticated are dealing with an outbreak of an epidemic disease. So overall, humans that come into more contact with cattle and sheep and other livestock are more likely to. The causative agent of the Rift Valley fever is the Rift Valley fever virus. The genus of this virus is the Phlebovirus, and it's one of the 5 genera located within the family Bunyaviridae. Bunyaviridae got its name from a place in Africa called Bunyamvira. The virions of the RVF virus, along with all the other types of viruses in the Bunyaviridae family, all have a sphere shape, 3- DNA strands, a capsid, and an envelope high in lipids. This virus causes many complications such as blindness, fever, and hemorrhages. One of the reasons that it's been hard to find treatments for this virus is because it's a virus and not bacteria, and therefore it's very hard to find treatments that work. Mosquitoes facilitate the spread of this virus by spreading it through animals, and humans usually get this virus from contact with livestock, but mainly by not washing their hands after coming into contact with the infected animals. It's very important for humans to wash their hands, especially when handling the meat and just being in contact with these animals. Humans can also get this disease from being bitten by the mosquitoes, but those cases are much rarer, and it's way more common for the humans to get this disease by coming in contact with contaminated animals. Outbreaks of this disease are way more common after climates with heavy rainfall, because that's a climate that mosquitoes would prefer. So now to talk about the life cycle, transmission, and the vector for this disease. As stated before, this disease can be caused by both the mosquito directly infecting the human or the human being infected by a domesticated animal that has been bitten by the mosquito. So right here you can see that the wildlife is where the mosquito came from with that arrow, and then it can directly affect the humans or then also indirectly affect them, but overall it's much more rare to have the humans affected directly by the mosquitoes because they just simply don't come into contact as much with the mosquitoes. And also it's much more common to just have more unsanitary conditions in which they can get the disease from the animal. So in preventing this disease, it's better to look at the animal cycle and try to prevent it at that stage than to focus on the actual mosquitoes. Overall, there are 4 main types of diagnoses for this disease, the Rift Valley fever. The first type of diagnosis for the Rift Valley fever is the clinical diagnosis, and this diagnosis basically varies from species, and the smaller species are more susceptible to this disease, while the larger species can even be just 10% susceptible, and the larger species include humans, and the species in the middle are basically just livestock. And also lesions are one other type of diagnoses. These include various types of hemorrhages, which mostly affect the liver, hepatic necrosis, and then the enlarging of lymphatic nodes. There's differential diagnoses, and these diagnoses include obvious symptoms such as anthrax, vibriosis, etc., and it's a very long list. And there's laboratory diagnoses, so you basically look at the blood smear tests, and even you can look at the liver. Now to talk about the prevention, treatment, and control of this disease. Treatment for affected animals might not exist, but the drug ribavirin may work in humans, but it hasn't exactly been clinically proven. For the Rift Valley fever, the 2 types of preventative measures are sanitary prophylaxis and then also medical prophylaxis. Sanitary prophylaxis is basically just avoiding this disease by controlling the animals and maintaining hygiene in the affected areas with those animals. And medical prophylaxis is avoiding the disease by vaccines. So there can be vaccines within the animals or the humans. Overall, it is a much better method of control to use sanitary prophylaxis because mosquitoes usually affect animals and humans get the disease from those animals than being directly affected by the mosquitoes. So that is a better method of controlling this disease. Now I'm going to talk about the World Health Organization's view on this disease. So this Rift Valley fever, the World Health Organization kind of confirms that it is zoonosis. And as I said before, zoonosis is when a certain disease affects both animals and humans in similar ways. So that makes sense because both livestock and humans were affected by this disease in similar ways. Overall, humans are much less likely to get this disease than animals are. Overall, it's more likely to have this disease be spread in an epidemic when there's a lot of rainfall, because when there's a lot of rainfall, that's when mosquitoes are way more prevalent. In summarizing what I've said before, it's in East Africa and Southern Africa, this disease is a lot more present because there's more livestock. And also, this disease can still be present in sub-Saharan Africa and Madagascar, and also, as of the year 2000, the Arabian Peninsula. Also, according to the World Health Organization website, El Niño oscillations, or the southern oscillations, occur, and those cause an even greater prevalence of this disease. So in conclusion, the Rift Valley fever is a disease that deals with zoonosis, and there is no actual real treatment, but there's a chance that ribavirin can help humans while there's no treatment for the animals.